Monday Morning Marketing Podcast is brought to you by Esther of IPA Group, bringing premier online promotion to your business.
And Melanie of Stomp Social Media Training, who empowers business owners to manage social media and marketing for themselves.
Welcome back to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Today we're talking about marketing doesn't work when you... Okay, so last week we said give you lots of tips about how to make marketing work for you and when you do certain things. So today we're going to do other ones that mean that marketing doesn't work for you. So kick us off there, Melanie.
I think one of the most common things that every sized business does, and this isn't just solopreneurs and small businesses, is they just don't talk about themselves enough.
Yeah.
They don't humanize their brand. And people do buy from people. And just talking about yourself doesn't necessarily mean talking about how many children you have, where you went to school, that sort of thing. It could be just, the experience you bring to your audience, what kind of knowledge that you have that you can impart that's going to be useful. So yeah, just don't be afraid to talk about yourselves and explain what a difference you can make to people. So I think that's the top one for me.
Yeah, exactly. And one that I see a lot, and I think at times we all sort of fall into the same trap, is that people that post and run. So you'll throw up a post, answer a question on social media, somebody asks something in a group or something, and you just give your opinion and then you leave. You go and do something else, and you don't wait around for the interaction that can come from that. So then people are waiting like 2, 3, 24 hours for you to come back into that app and go, oh yeah, yeah, I forgot I was talking about that. So stick around for a bit. You don't know what's going to come from those conversations.
I think the next thing to point out is that people tend to use social media the wrong way around. They tend to use media rather than social. And it's all about generating conversation, just like you say. And we tend to use it, and I will admit I do too. Sometimes I forget. We tend to broadcast on our platforms rather than make conversation or share that stuff that matters to your audience on a regular basis. So remember, guys, it's social media, not media social, and that should help you remember the emphasis on where your strategy begins and ends.
Yeah, and leading on from that, remember that it's benefits that sell, not the features. The features are good. Features tell the story, but when you try to sell the features, people get lost. So sell the benefits. Like, why is working with you the best thing for them to do? Why are you going to make their life easier? Why is your product the best thing since sliced bread? Benefits, not just the features. I mean, tell the features too, but don't get bogged down in that part of, oh, it's, pretty. Unless it's something to brighten up the office, it's not going to work.
No, I agree. Another big bugbear of mine is marketing doesn't work when you only use social media to get your message out there. Only use social media. It won't work. It's not enough. Not all of your audience is on social media all the time. And they need prompts in other ways. And I'm not suggesting because not everybody can afford to rebrand their car or do TV commercials or radio campaigns or anything like that. But there is a lot more you can do. And just using social media on its own isn't enough. So do explore other more traditional formats of which we've discussed in the past.
Absolutely. And I'll just throw in there, networking in person, networking even online is still a big one. Going to events, going to conferences, just,
sponsoring stuff.
Yep. There's so much you can do. Obviously, upping your SEO so that people can find your website would be a good one as well. Like Melanie said, we've talked about all these things. We've given you so many tips over the last 3 years.
3 years.
So, go back and listen to them. They're not that long. But yeah, that leads me on to another one, is when you don't direct traffic back to your website. So your website is one of the only parts of the internet that you own. Okay, so you don't own your social media platform. You could be kicked out of it at any point. You could, the platform itself could close down. We've seen it many times where hacks happen. Platforms, there were so many platforms in the past that we've all loved and no longer exist. MySpace, if you're as old as we are.
Blab.
Blab was brilliant. But they're not guaranteed to last forever, So direct traffic back to your website, give them a link back to the blog, give them a link to contact your contact form or your download or your lead magnet or quiz on your website, whatever it is that you have that you can direct them back to your website, get more organic traffic, get more, referrals from that, and get them to just see what else you do, because your social only goes so far.
My next point is if you don't understand and convey clearly what your unique selling point is, if you're not making your message clear, particularly your USP, your unique selling proposition, why would they come to you in the first place?
Yeah.
So I'm not suggesting you bang on about it all the time, but if you understand what it is and you can convey it in a clear way, in a simple way, I suppose it's like an elevator pitch as well, isn't it? Then that's massively useful as well.
Absolutely. One that we've probably told you about from the very beginning, and we repeat it every so often because it is so important. Your marketing will not work when you're talking to the wrong audience.
Amen to that.
So get your customer avatar in front of you, front and center. Have it so clear. I was talking to someone the other day, and they use alliteration for their customer avatars. So they have dynamic Dianes, and they have, all these different ambitious Allisons. And if it helps you to remember it that way, then work away. So get your customer avatar sorted first, and then you'll see what platform you're supposed to be on. And if they're only going to be finding you through your email marketing, then use that one.
I think another important one to remember is your marketing most likely won't work if you don't schedule. And if you don't schedule, that you have to try and make the time and effort to be there at the right time when your audience is.
Yep.
So, and that's difficult. I mean, it's difficult as a sole trader anyway.
And then life happens.
Absolutely. I've not been feeling well this last week, and I've had a very foggy head, very sort of, bit of a serious head cold going on. And thank God I had stuff scheduled, because if I'd have written any content this week, it would have been rubbish, frankly.
But it is,
and I've looked back on stuff I've written this week, and it's not good. I've had to go over it.
Yeah, and there are ways that you can, reuse the content that you've previously used. So you could schedule stuff this month, and then in 6 months' time, it's still valid. It's still, evergreen content. So write it somewhere, like on an Excel document or something, that you can reuse it.
Yeah.
And lots of
and don't be afraid to. I mean, you did this earlier on. You ruined the ping pong effect we had going on, so I'm going to continue here. And if we've written a blog, or you've done a video, or you've done, you put some sweat, blood, and tears into something, and let's face it, a lot of content that we create does involve all three. It's important that you don't just share it the once. Marketing doesn't work when you don't put out something that is evergreen more than once. You have to do it more than once, because you can't guarantee that the right audience is looking at you at that one particular time you put that piece of content out, and to repurpose it. See, there's another one.
Yep.
See, there's another one. So, and to repurpose it, and that's that's when social media marketing works as well, because if you don't repurpose it, then different types of audiences won't see it on the different platforms in the different ways that they digest information. I said different a lot there, didn't I?
You did.
I did.
But it is important, to realize that Your message can also be repeated on non-digital marketing platforms.
Amen. Yeah.
You can get in touch with the local paper. I was talking to a guy the other day. He says they're always looking for good news stories from local businesses for the local papers. Local papers aren't dead. They're still selling them in shops, so they're still a valid.
And they're online as well.
Yep, exactly. They have.
But they've got a different audience to us.
Yes, they do. So you don't know who's watching you. This is the thing. You don't know who's seen what exact post, who has screenshotted, who has decided to save it for later. You know, if you're on Instagram and bookmarking it or bookmarking tweets, you don't know their names. You might be able to find their IP addresses, but that doesn't tell you anything, you know.
That's
Stalker.
tiny stalkerish. Yeah.
Unless you're a stalker. But you can, like Melanie says, just schedule things out at different times. A lot of the social media platforms now tell you when people are most active on your platforms. You can trial and error as well. Something doesn't work doesn't mean that nobody's seen it, doesn't mean that that one person, that one view that you've had on it isn't the one person that needed to see it at that time and will phone you next week and talk to you about it. You know, you never know who's watching. So just marketing is tough, guys. Marketing is really tough, and we are here to help you. We have trialed and errored a lot of things, but we know what can work. So keep doing good job.
Although today was about what doesn't work.
Well, yes, we know. That's why we know. We have done all these things, okay? We've done all these things and we know they don't work. So do what you need to do to make your marketing work. And if that involves hiring someone else, then hire someone else. Okay, that's it for today, guys. We're back next week for more Monday Morning Marketing. Until then, our DMs are open and don't forget to get in touch. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great week. So where are we going to take this next, do you think? We've done, you know, you can, how you do it right, and now how you do it wrong. Is there anything else we can do in between?
Stay tuned for more.